This is how you can easily create a retro fisheye effect in Photoshop. Once you created your artboard, import your image into Photoshop. Before we apply the fisheye effect, we need to create the frame for it. Simply create a black solid color layer on the top of everything and then right click on the rectangle tool and select the ellipse tool. Create a circle on the artboard, put it in the middle and scale it up until it almost reaches the side of the artboard. Now Ctrl plus left click on the circle's display icon to select it. And then click on the mask of the black solid layer. Make sure your default colors are white and black and simply fill the mask with black by pressing Ctrl plus backspace. Now you can delete the circle and move on to the next step. To make the frame a bit softer, just double click on the layer mask of the color fill and increase the feather size. Now we can create the fisheye effect. Select your image and make sure it's a smart object. Go to filter and then lens correction. Click on the custom correction tab and slide the geometric distortion to the left. I'll go with -45. If empty parts start to appear on the side, simply remove the effect, rasterize the layer, and use content-aware fill to expand your image. Then repeat the steps and play around with the transformation and the positioning. The next step is to create this retro filter. Simply duplicate your main layer, go to Filter, Blur, and add Gaussian blur. Set the amount to around 15 and press OK. Set the blending mode of the blurred layer to screen and create a curves adjustment layer on top of it. Create a clipping mask by alt left clicking between the two layers. Now adjust the curves by sliding these points until you are satisfied. I'll go with these settings. The next step is to put everything into one group, duplicate that group and finally turn it into a smart object. Now click on Filter and choose Camera Raw Filter. A really easy and fast way to create a retro effect in Photoshop is to go to Color Grading and select a warm color for the shadows. Let's crank up the sharpening to 150. This value also varies with every image, so set it to your taste. To add more depth to the frame, you can decrease this value. Now let's take a look at the Basic Correction tab. Here I used these settings, but the main things that you need to do are increase the temperature, decrease the contrast, and turn the dehaze down a bit. The other things are little tweaks that you can ignore, but I recommend doing them. Play around with the highlights and shadows, and add some saturation and vibrance. The last thing we will add is this little reflection effect. Not everyone has the balls to do this, but I linked one down below that you can use. Simply import it into your project and scale it to the size of the frame. Then set the blending mode to screen, create a layer mask, and erase the unwanted parts. And there you go.